Okay, we're recording, we're on track.
Yep.
Ms. Holly, would you do a roll call, please?
All right, do I have a Kit Tyler here today?
Yes.
Matt Rippey,
Yes.
Walter Growski,
Yes.
Jim McLean. Jessica Swander.
Yes.
All right, we have quorum.
Agenda, I move to adopt the agenda as published. Have a second?
So moved.
So motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, any abstentions, motion to adopt the agenda as published is carried. Approval of minutes, October 10th, 2023, that's yeoman's job as usual. Any comments? I didn't see any.
I didn't have any changes, no.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 10th, 2023 meeting as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll
Gillespie.
second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Same.
Same sign, none. Abstentions, none.
Well, there was one
One.
abstention.
Abstain.
Oh, you abstained, I'm sorry. My apologies. Motion to accept the October 10th, 2023 meeting minutes as written is carried. No budget items. And now we'll move on to applications and appeals. The Board of Zoning Appeals, BZA, is a local government body that is empowered by state law to consider granting relief for requirements of the zoning ordinance. The BZA is considered an administrative board that is quasi-judicial in nature. The quasi-judicial entity operates more like a court than a legislative body and uses many standards and procedures like the court. BZA decisions are required by state law to be guided by specific criteria and based on facts and opinions. The primary role of the Board of Zoning Appeals is to rule on the applications of the existing zoning laws as opposed to passing new laws, and therefore considered an administrative body. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is a administrative appeal. Robert, would you care to speak to that, please?
Yeah, so today, Mr. Kaiser, contacted me indicating that his counsel, had a medical personal matter to deal with tonight and couldn't be present. So that way he wanted to be representative during his appeal. He asked, if this could be postponed to the next meeting. So
So do we need to do any activity to?
I think at this point, it's just acknowledge this postponement to the following meeting and vote on that, right?
Set the date of the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, which the next meeting date, if
February 13th.
preliminarily it's February 13th, if you guys approve the dates.
Okay, so moving on. Would you please present the appeal, 2023-06? The request for variance of development standards by Cass and Gianni Cullis, 70 West Clear Lake Drive. With the process, our zoning administrator will present the variance request and certify that the required public notices have been met. First, we'll hear the applicants or the representative's presentation of the request, followed by the zoning administrator's summary of the communications he has received concerning the request, followed by public comments in opposition, followed by public comments in favor. And note that the BZA members will be given the opportunity to ask questions following each speaker. We'll close the public hearing and we'll move to the decision on the variance 2023-06. Zoning administrator will restate the variance request, discuss the applicable provisions of the UDO, that variance within his staff report for the variance request. Then the BZA will debate it. We'll vote to proceed to final action and vote to deny, approve, or approve with commitments. Mr. Harlan?
So request number 2023-06 was made by Cass and Jamie Paulus. The location is at 70 West Clear Lake Drive. Current zoning is Lake residential, single families. Single family residential property, they're requesting a dimensional variance. Things to know, lake accessory to the north. Lake residential to the east and west, and then of course, NA is because the lake is to the south of them, so. Today's hearing date, we did have the legal notice in the Herald Republican. I do not know what's going on, sorry folks. On November 30th, 2023. Plus the notice was posted outside the town hall. 2 adjacent owners, plus the owners themselves were sent certified mailings. And then 12 interested properties were sent courtesy notice. And those would have been within 300 feet. As always, the staff report has the criteria for development standards or variance. Okay. Something's going on. Yeah, no, there it is. I don't know why I did that. So, you'll see here, these are the people in pink that are highlighted were the ones that received the certified notices. Everyone else received the standard mailing notice, so. I'm gonna go into the feedback. So with all that, and we have the feedback available online, we had a total of 8, 6 support, 2 oppose. Finding of fact, we didn't have any, findings of fact 1, we didn't have any comments. 7 agree, 1 disagree. Finding of fact 2, we had again 7 to 1 with no comments. And actually I should probably read these out. So finding of fact 1, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morale, and general welfare of the community. Finding of fact 2 is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Both of those again were 7 to 1. In agreement. Finding of fact 3, a strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. This was a 4-to-4 vote from the public or response attached to the comments. So 2 of the people that felt that it should be approved didn't feel that this could be, this condition could have been met. So I do not believe the strict adherence will result in practical difficulties in the property use, although to me it appears property already has a legal non-conforming for the lower level. While the enforcement of the UDO will not result in difficulties in the use of the property, the requested variance doesn't encroach beyond the current footprint. And then the last one, there is no practical difficulty. The owner can make a compliant addition on the 2nd floor by simply reducing the overall size of the addition. So that was the comments that we received and feedback. And I didn't receive anything in the mail structure or other correspondence regard to the feedback. Going back, so this is the zoning matrix. This just shows one of the reasons why they're doing the request is 214 25-foot setback for the primary structure from the front property line. One thing to know, existing site conditions, the current home is a legal non-conforming building per 804 per 8.04 legal non-conforming structures. And there's the verbiage straight out of the ordinance that identifies that. Again, they are seeking relief from section 214 of the UDO from 25 feet to 19.3 feet, which is the current distance of the existing northeast corner of the home and property line. And then I can let them go into when they describe their project, their reasons and stuff. That works for you, Jim? Okay.
So basically the situation is that they want to add to the road side of the house, a 2nd story.
Correct.
Without changing the footprint of the existing structure.
Correct. And because of the non-conforming structure, The ordinance requires that any legal nonconformity has to be brought, or you can do an expansion on legal nonconformity, but it has to be within the confinements of the UDO. And then their request is not such as why they're requesting the variance.
And then you had in your documents, legal non-conforming building provisions. Building expansion, a legal non-conforming building shall be permitted to expand in area and height, as long as the non-conformity is not increased. And the expansion otherwise meets the current UDO.
Right, which means they have to meet that 25 foot setback.
Anything? Then I would entertain a motion to open this for public comment and ask the Collins or the representatives to
So moved.
Second. Please. Introduce yourself, a reminder, anybody that is going to speak in favor or opposition is assumed to be testifying under oath. Any documents that are referenced are part of the record and really can't be changed at any point in the future. Please, go ahead.
There's a microphone over there.
We can.
Yeah.
There's people
We're gonna switch
online that might need to hear you.
So again, my name is Mike Suber. I'm speaking on behalf of the Culls family. We appreciate everybody's time tonight. We understand the 19-foot issue being too close to the road, and we want to honor basically the footing line of the house. I'm not building any closer to the road. So we basically met with Star Homes. They have a proposal to basically take a first floor cathedral ceiling that's over the back of our house. Create 2 new bedrooms in the second story of our house, which is much needed. We've got a family that's growing very rapidly. Clear Lake's a very special place for our family. It's kind of a gathering point. Throughout the year now with Cass and Jane, both being in retirement, kind of the golden age of their retirement. They like to entertain folks. We've got 8 grandkids that are rapidly growing, and we've got some teenagers with more to come. So we do need a place for our family for more privacy. Right now, a lot of the grandkids are sleeping in kind of basically a loft area, which has done its job over the years, but we've made a lot of good memories. But we do need some more privacy within the house, and we see an opportunity to take advantage of the second story with this architecture, tie it into the existing second story, not encroach anymore really on the street. Appeal wise, I think the relationship my parents have with their neighbors, we've had this conversation with them. We feel like we wouldn't encroach on anybody's view of any obstruction of the lake view or anything like that. So we just again want to do this right. We feel like this property is definitely worth investing in for generations to come for our family, and we appreciate your guys' consideration.
Any questions?
Yes, I have. Were there, and maybe it's directed toward Robert, and you guys as well. Were there any alternatives that were talked about? Just because one of the feedback said that there could have been alternatives, solutions to the problem.
So we studied the floor plan multiple ways with Star Homes, and we're basically remodeling the whole second floor. So we're not just adding 2 bedrooms to the back. The whole second floor really needs reconfigured to fit essentially 4 bedrooms up there and not really disturb the structural integrity of the house. So other than some second floor plan decisions, we really didn't want to build onto the front of the lake house at all to really impede the neighbors' views of the lake. So going out further on the second story towards the lake would have done that. So this is kind of the basic addition to being 2 bedrooms to the house.
Yeah, I just had one, and it's kind of along the same line, I think that you were going. Looking at the floor plan of the 2 bedrooms that you're adding, I do see that loft space behind there. Is there, yeah, exactly. Is there a reason why you just didn't consume a little more of that loft space? Get that? Is there a certain bedroom size you're looking to do? I'm just. Kind of gets to that same question, is there a way we could have designed this to not require the variance, right, and still get the bedrooms that you're looking for? I don't know why that went blank.
So I'll clear that up. Basically, the loft space that's there right now is only essentially 11 feet wide. So
Yeah, I see that.
currently our loft space is, if you can scroll up a little bit. The loft space extends all the way basically to the existing front wall. So I mean, in efforts to kind of find a middle road and not kind of allow an area for the grandkids to play, we still needed to accommodate 11 feet of wall space. So it's
Okay.
kind of like a compromise.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for Mike in a little bit, but I'll hold off on that for a moment. Robert, do we have responses from the immediate neighbors? I know that that's not required, but if we have them, they're in favor or opposed.
We did, but let me make sure that. Well, Joe and Kathy, did respond. I do not have it for the other, and their recommendation was received.
Then, I would ask if there are going to be any public comments in opposition to the variance request. If so, please state your name and address for the record. Anybody speak in opposition? There is none.
I've got one online if you have a chance.
Go ahead, Bill.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is Bill Hanna. So speaking a little bit in my role as a planning commission, which is parallel with the BZA. In October, I had the opportunity to attend a 2-day training session entitled The Fundamentals for Citizen Planners, put on by the Indiana chapter of American Planners Association. And the target audience was planning committee members and BZA members. And this was attended by people in small towns, medium-sized towns across the state of Indiana. Again, it's training for this very role. And for me, most of it was a good reinforcement from many of the guidelines that I have picked up along the way, participating with the town and through various mentors that I'm working with. One key takeaway for certain was the guidelines for the BZA to approve a variance. And the Indiana code states that a variance shall meet the variance criteria, which I think maybe Robert had described it. There's essentially 3 criteria that it shall meet. Now, the BZA members have a tough task, as always, because the residents have solid ideas. They're well thought out, and generally are looking to accommodate family needs, much like this one. But the hard part is the BZA has got to really sort of put the empathy aside and judge the request based on the facts. Otherwise, the decisions are sort of influenced by a really effective or passionate speaker. And again, that's we need to sort of take that out of the mix. So my assessment here is the request meets 2 of the 3. The first 2 it meets, but the third one, the criteria that this request does not meet is the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. And practical difficulties, a further definition, that they cannot be self-imposed. So that's the one I don't see. The applicant, presented their desire to make this addition, and it's reasonable desire, and they've done some amends to, make some evaluation. But there's really no argument here regarding the practical difficulty in the use of the property. So one of the comments that Robert published there were mine, because I do see a number of options that would allow full compliance to the UDO, and it's essentially reducing the overall size, squeezing up just a little bit. And we've all probably been involved in working on homes or buildings, and it's always a set of compromises. So a few feet here and a few feet there, and you just simply have to squeeze it and compromise and make it compliant. So I believe they could still enjoy the additional bedrooms, but simply make that space smaller. So my recommendation, unfortunately, is to reject the variance based on that practical difficulty, and encourage the residents to explore those other options. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anyone else interested in speaking in opposition. Anybody care to speak in support of the variance request?
My name is Joe Schenkel. I'm the next door neighbor to the Cullises. And I want to speak in favor of this in regard that they've given thought as to the design of the project. They have the right to build straight up from the existing structure within the boundaries of the setbacks. And if they did so on the front side, it would be an impediment to our view out the front. They've taken that into consideration. And instead are asking for variance to go to the back within the building line of the existing structure, which will not cause any view obstruction back there. So I just want to make that comment in support of the Cullises. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any?
I'm Jim Morty. I live 2 hours east of the Cullises, and I would ask you to please support their project. I agree with what Joe just said. And somebody that was here 6 years ago and got a variance, I appreciated that, so our family could enjoy the lake, and I would like to see the board allow them and their family to enjoy the lake. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody online? Well, I have a motion to close the public hearing.
Unless they had anything else to say.
Was there any other comments?
What Jess was asking if the Cullises had anything else to say.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah, after hearing. No, that's okay.
No, please, everyone, feel free to. Correct the.
I'll second the motion to close that.
Okay.
I'll second it. Okay.
I just turned the camera on.
We're all set?
Yep.
Okay. Now, motion to close the public hearing.
We did that, so now we just need to vote.
Hold on.
We need to vote. Would we vote?
Question.
Discussion and
No
vote.
discussion?
Oh, first we close the public hearing.
We did. We did. Yes.
Okay, that discussion.
Motion, second.
Okay, good. Sorry, I just missed that somehow. I would like to just ask a question. What's the basis for the variance request? Is it the fact that the addition will go to the same, will also impose on the setback?
Right.
So if as suggested, the plan would change and the addition was smaller, lake-wise or whatever, and max 6 feet on that corner, there would be no need for a variance.
Right, if the second story is 25 feet from the property line of the road, whichever greater, there's no need for a variance.
Which in this case would be from the property line.
And it's actually, most of the problem is just that one corner of the building.
Well, it's actually the step of the building. If you look at the site plan, you can see the 25-foot setback line right here. And then this is the portion that projects beyond that. So which is approximately what, four feet about?
Yeah.
On average.
Yeah, more on the east side than on the west. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that Bill Hannon's mentioning of practical difficulty. The UDO definition, our UDO definition of practical difficulty is, and I quote, a difficulty with regard to one's ability to improve land stemming from regulations of this Unified Development Ordinance, period. Practical difficulty is not a hardship. Rather, it is a situation where the owner could comply with the regulation of this Unified Development Ordinance, but would like a variance from the development standards to improve the site in a practical manner. So I think it's a little more liberal maybe than the one Bill was quoting. That's our UDO with practical difficulty. Discussion.
I just have a question that's because of my own particular limitations. Is there any picture that shows what this is gonna look like from the outside? I didn't see it in our file.
Yeah, I didn't see an elevation picture.
I looked at the site, but I didn't. I couldn't picture it.
Proposed elevation.
Anybody else want to see it? So it's pretty much consistent with the rest of the properties along that road.
I would concur, yeah.
Yeah.
I see one here.
Thank you.
You need to. Wait.
You wanna open it?
Sorry. I think we have to reopen
Yeah.
public comments. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to open for public.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Please.
Ready now.
Hey, speak loud enough, just go from there.
The word practical difficulty for 20 of us to all be together at one time. Right now, usually one of our kids and their families stay home because it is difficult. And I don't know if that is the word practical, but this is a third generation of family that's been on the lake. And we'd like to keep it, and go into a fourth generation. And so it's just important to us to all be together, not ask one family, well, I'm sorry, but. You know, there's. By adding these 4 bedrooms, that gives couples, at least couples, a little bit of privacy. And like my son said, we have teenage girls now that. You know, it just gives them a little bit more privacy. They're not sleeping in the same room as some of the other adults. So I guess the word practical, I'm having a hard time understanding the opposing comment.
Any questions?
I don't.
Motion to close.
So moved.
Public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Additional discussion between the BZA members, possible conditions for approval. Doesn't seem like there's not much. That could be done short of denying a request. The whole front is, second story is, yeah. Okay.
Do you wanna go to a vote?
Yep, and it's time to motion to proceed to final action on variance request 2023-06 for hearing for a different time.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, anyway. Robert. Would you please read each of the 4 findings of fact and reintroduce the voting form?
Yeah. So the 4 findings of fact are as follows. Legal notice of the petition has been approved in the court, has been provided in accordance with People Indiana Code, and notice has been made to appropriate landowners. Approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. And then strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The members were each provided a form regarding this variance request. So following the meeting and whatever I guess on file, the findings will be on file. And once they're done, I'll actually read them all out and tell you what the vote is. So.
Okay. Then I would ask each of the board members to please go out their ballots and get them all over.
I'll also make that, and this is not a secret. This is not a secret ballot or anything like that. It's all available for public review no matter.
I have to check one of those things.
So the four findings of fact are a state requirement. That's not something that you can clearly.
Thing, but determine it based off your votes.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, so that being said, here's the following votes. So in finding of fact one, legal notice that the petition has been provided in accordance with the applicable Indiana code, and notice has been made to appropriate landowners. The vote is, yes, 5-0. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The vote is 5-0 for yes. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The vote is 5-0 for yes. And then strict applications of the terms of the zoning orders will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The vote is 3-2 for yes. So with that,
Pass.
it would pass. So no additional conditions were requested in the majority, so I would say there's no further discussion needed to move forward.
And you'll file whereas, this morning.
Yep, so following the hearing, the results will be put in, and I'll have all the reports set down.
Congratulations, Colin. Back to the agenda. Full business. None. Any more business or discussion? Anything you'd like? We have, do we need to move the one for next year?
Yep, everyone had it ahead of time to make sure there were no major conflicts. If everyone's good with it, it'll be placed on our calendar for the public.
So basically, it's the second Tuesday of every other month.
Yeah.
The February.
I'll make a motion to approve these dates. As listed.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Don't leave until you sign my paper.
No, I'm leaving.
You were there. You were at that meeting. You emailed.